Oh, I'm with Alabama Channel. So this meeting room, it doesn't have a camera. So if we don't physically record it and put it online, you couldn't see these. So actually, after this, if you want to see the recording of this,
yes. Oh,
and
we
you
have
can
right there.
actually.
Okay.
There you go, my friend.
Instead of sign up, you just speak. Well, they had a part level when I signed up. You get your 5 people in there.
Yeah, they haven't put the sheet out yet.
Two, got 3. One more.
Did you say you were not?
Is the
That's on, yes.
okay?
It's Alabama Channel.
No. I didn't want to know if you were sitting here.
No.
Okay.
This guy right here.
Do you have anything upstairs in the calendar?
This guy right here.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, my line. Is that channel?
This guy's doing it. He's videoing it right now.
But it hasn't remembered. I just
How's that transfer out? But you can live, somebody can live do it.
feel like it's
Yeah,
those little sneaky things. Yeah, those little things.
Yeah.
Understand. What are you watching in here? I got 2 bills in here. I got police off. Yeah, me
This is the
too.
one that doesn't have a
And I have
camera. So we record them.
Keith Kelly's TV.
Well, Dan, you're split right.
Yep.
I've just been watching Reams because we represent the Indians.
Yeah.
That's it. But if it stays like it is, we're fine. I'll get a.
You know, a dog got hit this past weekend in Baldwin County.
No.
Got hit. What were they doing? Chasing somebody or what? Well, one of the they had pulled a guy over and they were taking his information and then he took off on
If you have
foot
any issues,
and
finding
the
them,
handler had
you can
latched the cage and it got in the roadway and the lady hit it and believe it or not, and no broken bones, but Stringer was on, but he had the body cam on it. And so we went down yesterday. He's like, I just want you to go to logs. He said how crazy it is that we're working on this deal and that this happened. But they transported the dog. They have a veterinary emergency care clinic down there, and they got him right in. So
Who transported the dog? I don't know. Maybe the handler.
could have been.
The thing with the handlers, they have like sirens. I mean, at first we didn't. You loved the bill because just of the hair and the cleanup and all the issues that go along with the sanitary stuff. But we're fine with it now with the amendments that we got put on. So, but that's strange that did happen.
That's crazy.
But the dog lived.
The dog lived.
So there's Stringer right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, are you giving those out?
No, I can't. They're props for the next committee meeting.
Goodbye, Dan.
Do they help?
I'll bring more.
Sleep.
I think everybody should have one, especially in this building.
Yes.
I haven't ever had any, but
They have them at Dirk's.
I just want something nice.
No, for real, they do. They have them at Dirk's right when you walk in. No, but my friends have them. You probably could just drink this.
Alright, we fixed to put the sheets out for the public hearings for folks that want to sign up to speak on. There's 2 different ones, so make sure, you mark which bill you're wanting to speak on, whether it's Senator Williams or Senator Kelly's. And, I think the clerk's getting those sheets out there now. Mr. Chairman, will we vote on those 2 public hearings today? We're going to, because of the time of the session we're in, we're going to try and give these opportunities to work on. I know there's probably some work that has to be done on both of these bills that have public hearings. So my desire would be to get them out and have work continue before they get to the floor.
Yes, sir.
So, we're gonna go ahead and get started and call the roll while you guys are signing up. And we got 2 bills ahead of that we can knock out while y'all continue to sign up, and then we'll get the public hearing started. So clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Barfoot.
Here.
Senator Beasley.
Here.
Senator Conley.
Here.
Senator Chasteen.
Here.
Senator Jones.
Here.
Senator Kitchens. Senator Livingston.
Here.
Senator Melson.
Here.
Senator Price.
Here.
Senator Singleton.
Here.
Senator Stewart. Senator Stutz.
Here.
Senator Williams.
Here.
Senator Sessions.
Here.
We have a quorum. I'll handle this from my clerk here. We're gonna call HB 352 by Representative Crawford. This is the mirror bill of Senator Carney. So would you like to handle this, Senator Carney?
Sure, it's a bad bill.
No, this is his bill. My bill was a good one. No, this is the companion bill from the House to increase.
Mr. President, since we moved it out, move for favor report.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All those opposed, ayes have it, favor report. All right. We got HB 366, Representative Rim. Is he in the House? Does anybody have a companion to this in the Senate? Police dog, emergency medical?
He asked me yesterday to carry this, and I have not read it yet, but the way he explained it to me, this just allows them to transport the service dogs, and it's got the explanation there. They can provide medical care and transport during the line of duty. I think it passed the House unanimously. Yeah, 130-0.
So would you want to move favorable?
So I'd move favorable for
Second.
Does that mean we gotta do a 35 now?
It does not.
Match them? Right.
Y'all move favorable, Senator Barfoot seconded that. All right. Any other question or discussion? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, bill's given favor report. All right. We're gonna get ready for the first public hearing, which would be Senate Bill 272 by Senator Williams. This has a companion in the House. So I do believe the House sponsor is here. Representative Stringer is here. So I'm gonna let Representative Stringer explain this bill for Senator Williams. And then Senator Williams make a comment or two, and then we'll start the public hearing.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Senators, committee members. This bill is stemming from the closure of a navigable waterway in Mobile County, Big Creek Lake, by MAWS, which is the Mobile Area Water System that oversees the lake. Big Creek Lake is a water supply for the city of Mobile and surrounding areas. The closure was made by the director of MAWS, not by the board, not by a committee. It was by the director to close this down. This is a navigable waterway that the state has stocked over 900,000 bass in for a natural resource for our community, for the people to come in and fish. The people that are upset, the residents, the community is not ignorant to the fact of the water safety and do take that into consideration. The reason we've been given that the lake closure was over a zebra mussel that we do not have a problem with at this time that could come there. Understand that they're trying to look after the water quality there. In some of the meetings and committee meetings downstairs, as we've talked with MAWS, they told the people that live around the lake and live in those areas that they did not matter. The only people that mattered was their customers, which is a bad presence. You know, we are to be good neighbors with everybody. They did not have any public hearings. They did nothing other than abruptly close the lake to fishing. Before they closed the lake, we had a washing station set up to wash boats and to decontaminate boats from any kind of invasive species, to keep that out of our lakes. So we had measures in place to address this, but they still did it. So to me, it's an overreach of power. We don't need a board being able to close down any of our natural resources, especially something that the state conservation has openly stated that this is a navigable waterway, and that they have stocked over 900,000 bass in for the water board to come in and close. And I'm open to answer any questions that Chairman sees fit.
If you don't mind, just, if you have time to hang here and stay here.
Yes, sir.
During the whole thing, we'll get to some questions in a little while.
Can I just ask him one question before he leaves?
Sure.
How many other potential waterways are there in Alabama that could be affected by this, or could this be a local bill?
I don't think we need it to where a director of a water system can close a lake down without some kind of evidence that there's a problem and some kind of procedure in place to address that problem, which we did add an amendment in the House to do just that, to set up a procedure for like a 10-day notice of a public hearing, and then a 90-day closure if needed. And after 90 days, it would be reevaluated. And then from there, if it was deemed to need to be closed even further, that decision could be appealed to a circuit judge to look at evidence that the water board may have.
And I think to answer Senator Singleton's question on the local issue, you are well aware that it takes a lot of advertising time. So time had ran out to basically get a bill advertised, but it being a navigable waterway, there was an easy statewide fix.
Local application.
Yeah. Senator Williams.
Yes, I'm gonna let Ms. Skaggs speak for me right now on the state's ruling from Game and Fish.
All right, we'll start the public hearing then, and Ms. Skaggs, you are our first speaker, and give you 3 to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. The question that the Department of Conservation was asked to look at is whether or not Big Creek is a navigable waterway, because the law is that once you put a dam over a navigable waterway, then the body of water that results is a public lake or a public body of water. And so y'all can get into the questions of closure. Our only issue is it a public body of water? Because if it's a public body of water, then the public has the right to fish and recreate on it. And so that's what we did. Big Creek was declared a navigable waterway and a public highway by the legislature in 1858. And so that is a determinative factor for us on navigability. The other things that we look at to determine navigability is, at the time Alabama entered the Union in 1819, was it what's called meandered or mapped on the government surveys back in the day? And in fact, we've gone and seen that it was meandered and mapped back into the 1830s. I didn't look any further because once we found the 1858 Local Act, or the Act of Alabama, that's determinative for us. The other couple of issues, we've looked at it twice over the last, I'd say 35 years, and said, yes, it is navigable. We've got state submerged rights of way. So we've got contracts with utilities that have put pipe under the Big Creek waterway. And that's, again, determinative for us as to navigability. As Representative Stringer said, the department since 1974 has stocked about 900,000 bass, hybrid bass, in the lake free of charge. And we don't do that unless it's a public body of water for folks to be able to fish and recreate on it. Now, we do recognize, even though we contend, and I think we could prove, it's a public water, Mawes still has the right to protect their critical infrastructure. So the pumping stations, the booms that are out, the dam, those kinds of things, they would have the right to have buffer zones or protection areas around those things as critical infrastructure.
Thank you. Any questions for her before we move on to other speakers, members? Okay. All right. Mr. Alvin Hutchison. I've got 5 speakers. I'll give you 3 minutes each, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Senators, we appreciate this opportunity to come speak in this, these Howard halls. I'll tell you, like I told the House last week, we realize that decisions y'all make daily in here makes you a hero or a zero back home. Yet y'all are willing to accept that responsibility and do what you have to do, and we thank you for it. My name's Alvin Hutchinson, and I'm 69 years old. I'm here to try to convince you that SB 272 is worth voting for. My earliest memories of fishing with my dad back in 61, 62 was with Big Creek Lake. Never once believing that it could be taken away. Access denied, point blank. I mean, it just you know, there was no public hearings, no anything. It began years ago when Boss started acquiring all the land around the lake. People knew something was up, but we didn't know what it was. If they implemented their plan well, and as time grew on, we see, McGowan, if y'all remember McGowan Properties down there big in South Alabama, they owned a large portion of land on the east side of Big Creek Lake. When I was a kid, my uncle was overseer of that, and I used to squirrel hunt. And, late, early 60s and all, there wasn't hardly any deer around. And I remember when I was walking through there squirrel hunting, and a doe jumped up in front of me like it scared me to death, and I ran all the way to my uncle's house. Uncle Red, But I saw a deer, no, you didn't. Anyhow, they want to stop boats. They say that the boats have the propensity of carrying in invasive species. Well, stopping our boats are not going to stop every migratory bird that crosses state lines from day to day. They bring in a plethora of seeds and sprouts on their bodies. Birds from all over. Birds that even migrate to other countries come through our area. One of the big things, brother, down there, Senator Williams, is duck hunting. And we have migratory ducks come down the eastern flyway and come right across Big Creek Lake and sit down and rest, spend the night, whatever. They've tried now to smooth things over, by having rental boats. They're going to get a third party. I don't know who, but they're going to get a third party to rent boats. If they charge what they're charging on Lake Purdy up in Birmingham, they're going to price the blue collar guy right out of fishing. My son couldn't come today because he had to work because he took off last week, couldn't afford to miss another day. But yes, he does have a boat he can take his boys fishing in. It's not a new one. It's not a fast one, but it's a boat and it floats. And I wonder how many folks would go to a Robert Trent Jones golf course and not bring their clubs. Rent clubs from the pro shop to play golf. Not many. Also, how many of them will go to their favorite tennis court and rent tennis shoes and a tennis racket? Not many. You've got your own equipment you like to use.
Mr. Hudson, thank you.
All right.
Shane.
We need your help.
Shane Hobson. Is that correct?
How y'all doing today? My name's Shane Hobson. I reside in Wilmer, Alabama. This lake I've fished on for 49 years, 5 generations of my family. I was taught to fish there. The lake being what it is to us in our community, we would like to keep it. So this SB 272, we really need it. It's going to help us regain our privileges on our lake. As Mr. Alvin said about this invasive species being brought in by boats, yes, it could. I fished that lake for 49 years. I never seen one come in on a boat. But the ducks and bird and wild game around the lake can bring it in. Big Creek Lake, as we know, is its own ecosystem. If you do stop fishing in it, it's going to cause it to overpopulate, which could cause a fish kill that could contaminate the lake. So I'm asking y'all here today to please pass SB 272. That's it.
Senator Williams got a question.
How long did your granddad live on right out at the landing?
Granddad lived on the lake for 26 years till Moss deemed it unsafe to live there, so they got rid of him too. But thank y'all for letting me speak here.
All right. Larry Godfrey.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to come here and speak today. My name is Larry Godfrey. I live about a half a mile from Big Creek Lake in Mobile County in Sims, Alabama. I compiled a little handout there for you to look at and maybe have an indication of what we're talking about. The first part of it is there, I took some pictures just the other day, but I ran out of ink on my copier there, so I had some color copies of the lake on the north end of the lake, crossed where Highway 98, which is a federal highway and a state highway there. They have put booms across the waterway there to keep anybody from coming under the bridge. We have a railroad track right north of where Big Creek comes in, and that hauls tar sands oil to the refineries on tank cars. Highway 98 continuously crosses the lake there at the north end with of course tank trucks coming down and whatnot. And we also have 2 or 3 pipelines coming under the lake and under the watershed of the lake. Tar sands oil being the worst, in my opinion. Now, in that area there, if you look on the back part of the handout, you have quite a few pages there telling the history of Big Creek Lake. This was provided by Mr. Ronnie Howell here. He's brought that. His wife compiled all that, and his great-great-grandfather helped put that lake in. He was the beach supervisor of that area there. And this got a long history of what happened, when happened, and all the promises at the time the water company made in that situation. So let's look at that. And there's a lot of good information there. If nothing else, pretty interesting. In my book it is. But anyhow, they have broke, as far as I'm concerned, they have broke the law and the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law meaning with the citizens, or what they promised the citizens in this genre. But there's a lot of questions that's not asked. Their position on this, meaning Malls, is we answer to no one. That statement was made quite a few times in meetings, etc., etc. Now, we think at least that we should be afforded a reason, a good, honest reason why this situation is happening. And we can't get any information from it all, with exceptions. Malls is going to hire a third party to go in the boat business. Now, everybody knows whether you're fishing or not, you have a favorite rod, a favorite reel. Might be a Zubco 33, who knows, you know? But anyhow, that's your equipment. You have it in your boat when you go fishing. You have it in your boat when you come back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Chess, hang on just a second. Question.
I did have a question. The boats that they're renting, are they motor or non-motor?
Well,
I don't have any yet.
All we've
Well, they're
got,
proposing it.
all we've got is a video of what they showed us in a lake similar to Big Creek Lake in Birmingham. They had it look like to me 30 to 40 horsepower Mercury motors on those boats with a welded, it looked like to me, aluminum boat, probably 16 feet long. How many people do you know that can work on an outboard motor? I've been a mechanic, not a working on automobiles. I was a machinist all of my life. And at that point, I wouldn't attempt to work on an outboard motor because I know it's going to cost me more to get it fixed when I finish than I started. Therefore, you get out on a 3,600 acre lake, if they open up all the lake to us, which they're not, You get out on the other side of the lake with clean up tributaries there, which they've got booms over every tributary. You're gonna be out there past dark. They might not wanna come get you. They might have a serious situation at home. A good supper, maybe a good glass of wine, and mama. So, that situation may not be.
All right, let's get our next speaker up here.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question I want to ask.
Okay.
And it could be to you, Jack, anyone. How many members are on this board?
7.
Was there any ever any consideration by any one member to try to reverse the decision of that executive director?
Let me elaborate on this. First meeting I went to was at Mall's board meeting at Forest Hill, Alabama, where their mechanical end of it, repair, maintenance, etc., and their office. That situation arose that they was gonna give the city of Mobile the 9,000 acres of Big Creek Lake.
Okay.
And that was a land grab, in our opinion. They wouldn't tell us why, what, or anything else. They took a vote on to give that 9,000 acres to the city of Mobile. There was one negative vote. The lady that didn't vote for it. The rest of them did. Wouldn't tell us why or anything else. And that was at a regular board meeting.
Thank you, Senator. Matthew Frazier?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Are there any opponents here? Anyone from Hall or anybody? We got 2 more. We got Matthew and 1 more, I think, that are proponents. So just a couple of minutes, make it quick, because we got another meeting to get to at 3. So.
Well, I appreciate your time and letting me speak. The bill is important for us because the director of malls has used his position and power, and he's overreached to make and enforce the decision to close a state declared public lake. This is a very important lake. He didn't get any approval. There was no vote from the community. There was no vote from the board of malls. It was one man that made the decision, and that's too much power for one man. For a 3,600 acre lake that has been our lake for 70 years, it's too much power for one man. So we need this bill to help us do that. We've ran tournaments out of Big Creek Lake to help St. Jude. We've raised thousands of dollars, over the years for St. Jude's. We're helping kids. We're doing it's an economical impact for our community. It's food for us. It's life for us. That one man has the power to make a decision to take it away. And that's why we're here. I noticed that you said, could it be a local bill? We attempted to have the local and city officials help us, but instead, all of them said, it's not our jurisdiction. There's nothing we can do. We went to our county commissioners, our city councilmen. We tried everything. And that's why we asking y'all to do something, please. We don't know who to go to. That's why we came to y'all, the officials.
But with that, Mr. Chairman, I move for a favorable report.
Got a motion for a favorable. I hear a second. Second by Senator Williams. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Bill's giving a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, we get to the last bill. We have Senate Bill 296, Senator Kelly. What you got for us today, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'll try to speak a little quicker since I know we're on time. This bill would authorize the operation of off-road vehicles in a limited use on public waterways and non-incorporated areas. The bill defines off-road vehicles as those specified under section 3282 of the Code of Alabama. What do you think? This includes vehicles designed primarily for off-road use, but capable of being adapted for limited road use. Off-road vehicles must be registered under Article 5, Chapter 12 of the Code of Alabama, and a special tag indicating restricted use must be issued and securely attached to the vehicle. It must be modified with functional brakes, headlights, tail lights, a horn, seat belts for the passengers, a roll bar for added safety, a spark arrestor for the muffler, and a windshield. Operators must have liability insurance that meets or exceeds the minimum requirements as outlined for a regular automobile. Off-road vehicles can only be operated on public roads that are unincorporated areas of the counties with a maximum speed of 55 miles an hour. Operators must be licensed automobile drivers, 16-year-old or above. The bill exempts the off-road vehicles used exclusively on private property or for agricultural purposes, and the fines would be that of a regular traffic violation. Now you have an amendment there with you.
Yeah.
And the amendment, what it actually does is it has certification requirements. The Department of Revenue will create a certification form for off-road vehicles, and the dealers must certify that the vehicles, regardless of age, are equipped with brakes, headlights, the aforementioned different things. Registration and tagging is certified to be registered by the local licensing officials upon application and payment of fees. The tags must be securely attached as the same as you would for a private vehicle or passenger vehicle. Must have liability insurance, and there's also the use of off-road vehicle section there. It cannot be used as evidence of a product misuse, contributory negligence, or an assumption of risk. And the amendment emphasizes safety by mandating essential equipment. It establishes a certification process. It requires insurance and does give restricted use. Now on this, I have met with and put something in there that came with liability concerns from the county commissioners. That language is in here, although I understand they're still opposed to the bill. And then it also, part of that has language in there that came from the Revenue Department and the Attorneys Association and also the Farmers Federation. So we've included all of those individuals in this, and we've had them at the table away. They're already on the road. Every time I come to Montgomery, I live in a rural area. You come through Calhoun County, Talladega County, I kid you not, I get behind at least 2 or 3 a year, 2 or 3 a trip. They're on the roads, but they're on the roads and they're not insured. And they don't have those safety features. And we're in a time when I think we need to look at some common sense here. They're already there. The ones that come on the side of the roads are tearing up the side of the roads. And this is what it looks like on some of those. You know, that's kind of what we're talking about right there. And, you know, the opponents are gonna say, you know, that these aren't safe or the roads aren't safe for them. But with those modifications, they're deemed to be determined in over 25 states that already have legislation similar to this. And in comparison, that's legal on the roads right now. So if you're gonna get hit by something, which one do you rather be in? So that's it, Mr. Chair. I'll be glad to entertain any questions, or if you want to go to the public hearing.
I have one. Right now I can go a half mile away from my house, check cows. If I'm in one field, go out on the road, it's legal with a farm vehicle. This is not gonna change any of that, is it?
No, sir. Okay. You still use those for agricultural purposes, just like you have now.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Kelly before we get to the public hearing? Yes, sir.
I'll just wait until we do the public hearing. I've got one other question.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll start the public hearing then. Everybody, you got 3 minutes, please. Try and keep it to the point best you can. And we will start with Sammy Gallman.
Yes, sir. My name's Sam Gallman of Talladega, Alabama. Live in the Talladega National Forest in the rural area, and in our area we have a lot of people who are owners of side-by-sides. You know, it's a privilege that we enjoy. You know, we take it safely. We enjoy times with our family with it. I understand people are going to say opponents are that there's risk, but there's inherent risk in anything we do today. You know, it's our choices to make these decisions. So I appreciate you speaking in favor of this. And you know, another thing is I think there's some great revenue opportunities here for the state of Alabama. You know, these other states seem to do good. Tennessee, Georgia's made a lot of revenue. I don't know the exact numbers. Also, very seldom is there an opportunity that where a person can voluntarily pay to raise revenue in the states. Normally it's forced by a tax. This is people's choice. So I wish you appreciate and pass Senate Bill 296 in favor of everybody, and most everybody you know either owns one or you own one yourself. So thank y'all.
Eric Hill, Association of County Engineers. Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, may I pass out a handout, please? Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm county engineer up in Lauderdale County, Alabama. I just want to speak to you today for a few minutes about this bill. You know, we have major concerns that it's a threat to infrastructure. We're concerned about the safety of the traveling public and also the financial stability of counties that this could have on our infrastructure. You know, as you'll see from that handout we just passed out, you know, county roads are not designed for off-road vehicles, and off-road vehicles are not designed for county roads. That handout there is that's just three, and there was more, we just put three on the page, of excerpts directly from the owner's manuals of 3 side-by-side manufacturers that specifically say do not operate on paved surfaces, do not operate on public roads. Very clear language. And so that's a pretty strong indicator to me. We have major concern with this just due to the damage that it could cause, not just to the infrastructure, but and like the gentleman before spoke of, you know, our shoulders, and these vehicles seem to seek mud, and so even if they're on a travel road, they seem to get off of it. One of the things that concerns us is the cost that it would bear to counties to modify our county roads. If this was incorporated, these were legal vehicles. Our current design vehicles are something, think a Chevrolet Suburban or a passenger vehicle or truck. And so if we had to incorporate side-by-sides into our design vehicles for infrastructure, it would be a major setback for us. I mean, this is data that we don't have. We currently use design data that's historical, crash data over the years, and research institutes that have looked at this for many, many years, looking at normal passenger vehicles. And so if we incorporate side-by-sides, it's just a totally different ballgame. In-house in counties, we don't have the staff or the resources to completely redesign everything we have to face for vehicles like this. One of our other concerns is with these vehicles is a lot of the instability that they have at high speeds. They have inferior braking systems. Also, many of these are sold with tires that are literally written on the tire, not for highway use. And so many of the vehicles themselves are just not suitable for public roads. So, Mr. Chairman, if I could, the Sheriff's Association is also here, and they did not get a chance to sign in. If I could concede my time to them.
Before you do that, I think we have a question for you, Senator Stubbs.
I do. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, this is the same argument y'all used about log trucks, so infrastructure damage. Can you explain, you're an engineer, how in the world does it damage a road to drive side by side on it? I just don't understand how that it weighs less, it's got the footprint, you know, like I said, you always argue infrastructure damage. Just explain that to me, how in the world that happens.
Sure, so the first damage that I think of would be tires, okay? Most of these have very aggressive mud tires that are not DOT legal. And so you take a chip seal road, you know, these are the kind of tires that can get down into the subgrade shoulders. And we know from experience, we see this all the time with these guys. They get off on the shoulders, they're going underneath bridges, so we have erosion and sediment control issues, and so that's some of the concerns we're worried about.
I mean, this is designed to keep them off the shoulders. You know, where I live, I mean, I see, I'm like somebody said, Senator Kelly said, driving down. I mean, any of the roads I drive around out in where I live in county roads, there's, side-by-sides going in the ditch and the shoulder. I mean, they are doing damage there, but I just can't understand how they're gonna damage the pavement.
We don't think this bill will change that. We think they'll still be in the ditches.
All right, thank you, and we'll call him up last, we'll give him an opportunity. John Cullimore, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you all very much. My name is John Cullimore. I'm the CEO for Coosa Valley Electric Cooperative, and I'm also an off-road enthusiast. I own a Jeep, 2002 Jeep TJ, which is, Jeep enthusiast. They call that the true Jeep. But I also own a side-by-side. It's 4-seat side-by-side. My wife and I, we've been off-roading for years, decades really, and in the past when our kids were younger, we took our kids. Now we take our grandkids, and every year we annually go up to Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, all these states that have implemented some form of what we're talking about here with Senate Bill 296 to allow off-highway vehicles to ride on certain designated roadways. In Tennessee, you can start out in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and just in Tennessee, in eastern Tennessee alone, in that area that's west and north of Knoxville, there's over 1,000 miles of off-highway trail, off-road trails. These are true off-road trails. The gentleman mentioned that these vehicles seem to find mud. Well, if you don't have pavement, you have mud, and the mud gets on the vehicles. They're off-highway vehicles, off-road vehicles, ORVs, OHVs, whatever you want to call them. They're vehicles. They're forms of transportation. They're built with roll cages that are very sound. They're lighter weight vehicles. They don't need the kind of support and reinforcement and everything that an on-highway vehicle does. But these things are forms of transportation, and what they give you to do, the opportunity to do, is be transported to places you otherwise couldn't reach. In northeastern Tennessee, we went to I'm the navigator when we go on these trips, by the way, and we found a place it's called the Sand Cave Waterfall. This waterfall, this sand cave, is massive. It is huge. You could stuff the whole Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center inside this thing, and there's over 100-foot tall waterfall, and you can't get to it any other way but by an OHV. And if we couldn't get there, we couldn't have experienced that, which is fascinating. We had babies, little kids with us, all the way up to, people my age, which I was the oldest one in the group. So a lot of people get to experience a lot of things because they take these OHVs. So why do we have a bill like this that's being proposed? In Tennessee, Kentucky, these other places I mentioned, it's not so these people can just run around on the paved roads. It's so they can get from one trailhead to the next without having to load their vehicle on a trailer and carry it down to the next trailhead. That's the only reason why people are riding on paved roads, to get one place to the next. It's an A and B thing. It's not so they can just run around and have fun on the roadways. Trust me, I drive mine on a paved road when I'm up there, but I don't enjoy it. It's not where I want that thing to be. I want it to be off-road. My tires last longer when I'm off-road, but I have to ride on the pavement to get from point A to point B. If we did this, it would open up more opportunities in the state for tourism, because these other states have recognized that this is a form of tourism. It's tourism dollars. Thank you all very much.
I hate to cut you off, but
yes,
we're pushing up against other committee meetings in time. So we're gonna have Sam Adams with Aaliyah, and then unless there's something different to offer, I think we'll move. We've got this amendment, so go ahead, Sam.
Yes, sir. I'll be brief. Just wanted to state that Aaliyah is not for off-road vehicles being used on the road. Our troopers responded, many of them told me throughout their career, to multiple accidents involving these sorts of vehicles that are dangerous not only for the occupants of those vehicles, but for the other motoring public that may not be able to see them as well as a normal vehicle, may not be able to, because of a slower speed that they may be driving. So just wanted to register that. I know that Senator Jones had a constituent pass away the past couple months from an incident involving one of these in their inability to handle the transition from the paved road to the soft shoulder of the road, unfortunately. The two things I did want to mention, one was the scenarios mostly talk about the best case scenarios, and we most of the time deal with the lowest common denominator. Many times hopeful here that you can drive, if this were to pass, that you could drive your four-wheeler or what have you on the road and increase those numbers of people that think it's okay. Also wanted to mention that the states that do have this authorized, just in a short survey of some of those, was very restrictive. The Tennessee situation was mentioned earlier. If you pull their statute, it says that it's authorized, on County Road 62 in this county from Locust Lane to Mulberry Creek. Very restrictive in how those allowances are made, not a carte blanche statewide on highways 55 miles an hour and below. So just wanted to relay some of those concerns. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And I think, was it the Sheriff's Association?
1 minute.
Okay, come on.
Thank you, sir. I apologize. I got held up in 200 and wasn't able to come and sign in. There's a couple aspects the Sheriff's Association has opposition and concern about. As already been mentioned, is about the speed. I think the sponsor of the bill shows you a few photographs. Some of these off-road vehicles now are built strictly for speed. Some of them will reach speeds of 60, 70 miles an hour. And also about the tires. If you look at the tires on these, most of them do come with knobby tires. I have 2 of these vehicles. Mine will go 55. And I know that if I was driving down a paved road and I was doing 50 to 55 miles an hour and a rabbit ran out in front of me and I went to yank that wheel, I would roll that vehicle because they are a very short wheelbase type vehicle. And then some municipalities, as you are aware, have enacted legislation or their municipal ordinances, but most of those are on roads 35 miles an hour or lower to be used. So the speed is a concern, and so from a public safety concern, I ask that you take those in consideration on this bill.
Thank you. And we do have this amendment, so I will offer the amendment that read upon. And have a second on the amendment. All in favor say aye. All opposed? All right, the amendment's adopted. Now we're on the bill, and Senator Price had a question. Senator Kelly is here.
Thank you for working with me on this amendment. I appreciate it. There are a couple other things that have come up really in the last hour that we need to address. And I understand from the tourism standpoint that we talked about. I will be glad to work with you because we want to continue to move your bill forward. But let's just get together later and we'll talk about those before you go to the floor. How's that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
That. All right, I'll make a motion that we give the bill favorable. And a second. Second by Senator Williams. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Bill's giving a favorable report. We'll record the no's.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. I look forward to working with you.
Make sure everybody understands. Some of them. How you doing, sir?